And we're back, and I'm not going to look at the ocean anymore because it pisses me off more than a little bit. Oh wait, can I look at these graves? Yeah, I can look at the graves.
Grave of Isolde Holstig. You died alone, but Akara will never abandon you. He is your family now. Who's Akara?
I don't know, probably some god of death.
Aslof Malloy. Akara watches over you now, dear Aslof. In death, the pirate can no longer touch you. You're in my prayers. Okay.
Killed by dead Kel, lost to us in body, but with us forever in spirit. I'm just going to go through these fast. May you be welcome into Akara's heart. We will not forget you. Alright, these are actually really boring. Yeah, these are incredibly boring. Okay, walk to the gallows he did, mad in the head he was. Blame the Pirate King. That's a little bit more interesting. I love it when you're playing, like, when you're playing a game and the...
Guild Wars 2 had a substantial graveyard.
Yeah, but it had funny sayings, like, kind of clever words for a lot of them, which I thought was really cool.
And a couple of ridiculous deaths.
Yeah, also true. So we are in Gallows End, correct?
Yeah. I'm actually so... Ooh, that's a nice looking mansion-y thing.
Yeah.
And then there's...
People?
Pine trees.
This all actually really reminds me of the first...
Do you know what would be really funny?
What?
If Dead Kel actually wasn't undead, and it was just a bunch of people masquerading as undead.
Well, if you noticed during the like cutscene in the previous thing, he was just wearing a skull mask, there was actually a face underneath the skull.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm wondering if the inhabitants of this island actually just want to perpetuate the fame of this figure.
Potentially.
And just loot things for themselves.
Anyway, let's talk to Elder Malloy.
Akara blesses us with another lost soul. Welcome, stranger. I am Alder Malloy, and you've arrived at Cape Solace just in time. Tell me, how have you come to find yourself upon our shore? It is a village established by those of us whose fates have brought us to Gallows End. Sailors and settlers, foreigners and families, but castaways all. We have made a life here on these beaches and in this village. Akara is the reason I am here. The reason all of us on this island are here. And maybe, my friend, it's why you are here as well. Akara is this island and everything upon it.
Great, more crazy religious people.
Yeah, we're here for Dead Cow.
Ah, so you're here for the oppressor, he who was cast down. You're not the first to arrive on these shores in search of him. You will not be the last. But Akara's magic protects us here in Cape Solace. We are safe from Dead Kel's deathless touch. The same cannot be said for those who venture past the boundaries of the village, near the keep and the surrounding forest.
This reminds me of The Village. You know the M. Night Shyamalan video?
Never saw it. I don't really watch a whole lot of Shyamalan.
It's about sort of like a Puritan town in actually modern times. So at the very end of the movie, you see cars and airplanes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they're like remote. And, you know, of course they do the whole thing of, oh, don't leave the boundaries of the village, especially at night, because these creatures will come and devour you. And it turns out the village elders are the creatures all along, and that the people that disappear are just, like, taken away, or, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So...
A lot of parallels, and for example, I'm thinking of, actually, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz with the whole
cult
thing there?
Yeah, the neighborhood watch. Yeah, I could see it.
So I'm wondering if they're just keeping people under their thumb in this village and Dead Kel is a part of their...
Probably.
And if there are strangers that come in that don't conform to their ways and leave, they end up killing them
That makes sense.
and blaming it on Dead Kel?
Yeah, I could see that.
Dead Kel was the favorite son of Akara. He was given great gifts from our protector, only to squander them in the pursuit of power. We are blessed not to fear him. So many others live at his mercy, but not those of us here on the safety of the beaches. Akara protects the faithful. Why, it is the great fortress that looms in the north. Grave Hall, as it was named by the Diverga craftsmen who raised its mighty walls. But the Dverga have long since abandoned the island, leaving their great keep empty. Some in the village, like Paddy, are intrigued by the keep's dark courts and corridors. But I would avoid it. Grave Hall is haunted. The villain Dead Kell rules much of this island, and he strives tirelessly to control every last inch. Akara will not let this happen. We are protected in this spot alone, just south of the river and along the coast. The Fallen One has no power here, and it enrages him.
Then again, I can see what he's saying is true, as well.
I don't know. I'm just thinking that it would be a really cool twist if it was, in fact, the villagers doing this all along and whatever.
That's true.
But
Then you will fit in well, for keeping the village strong is truly a group undertaking. We get by with Akara's blessing and providence, of course. You may stay with us for as long as you wish, but might I suggest that you find a way to make yourself useful? We all must do our part.
Meaning he wants us to do side quests. Well, let's go back and talk to
Well,
Ditty
what do you
McDisserton.
think? I don't know about you, but all of this talk about Akara is unsettling. I'm going to ask around about ways to get off the island, since I'm almost certain we're not going to want to stay. We'll have to secure another vessel, but from the looks of the village, they don't often venture past the reef. In the meantime, I'll ask you to scour the beaches for survivors of our wreck. I fear that we may be all that's left of the calamity. Such a possibility has left me agitated. I try not to worry. Anxiety doesn't agree with me. I throw up. I did not see my bosun Thora among the dead, or his wife Asa. There's a chance they have evaded death's grip and still count among the living. Mark my words, if even one of them survives, I will fight to the earth's edge to find them. That's the spirit. I knew taking you on board was the right idea. That fortune teller didn't know what she was talking about. I will stay here and speak to Alder about a boat, and I'll have them send men to fetch Tari from the sandbar. I'll have Dead Kell's head if it's the last thing I do.
What if she's Dead Kell? Wouldn't that be nonsense?
what? But she isn't the one that's always gone on the Dead Kell missions.
I don't know. Anyway,
Bring them back.
where am I going?
Plus, the last time we thought that, like, Aelin was the true evil, it ended up not being the case.
True. It'd just be kind of a weird twist. There's
I
also
still-
a lot of
look
treasures
at
straight up.
the squidama-thingamajigga.
What? Here?
Yeah. Is that like a Kara?
Oh, yeah. Yep, well, it's
Shrine to what?
Gaia.
Oh.
Still cool. I wish they had more designs like that in this game. Onwards. Oh, also,
Actually, I'm getting a
creepy
real, like...
dwarf man statue.
Yeah, I'm getting a real, Northwest Indian vibe from a lot of the architecture around here.
I could see it.
Especially the pine trees and
I was
stuff.
going to say this before we got into the dialogue options, but it really makes me think of... What are you guys?
Bogart
Urchins. They actually switched the design slightly, so they're
Oh, wow.
not the same. This is awesome. See,
They're
this is what they
rocky.
should have done across the board for everything else in this game. Oh well. So, this area actually solidly reminds me of, you know, the intro area in Wrath of the Lich King in World of Warcraft? With all the, like, big pine trees and you sail in on ships? Or I guess if we were Horde, we came in a different way, didn't we? We came in on a blimp. But if you're Alliance, you sail in on a ship. And it feels very similar to this. A little less, like, nautical themed, but still.
I mean, we played both sides, but I think we didn't go as quite
Yeah, we
as
didn't
far
make-
with our alliance characters.
Yeah, because our friends were Horde? I don't know. It's World
Except
of
it
Warcraft.
was one of those things where we wouldn't have invested the time into it anyway to...
You play
join
with
the
anybody?
guild.
Yeah. But that's fine. It's kind of nice to just get on and grind through a game for once in a while.
Well, let's see, you got me that original pack, and then we were able to have the free month.
Yeah. I don't know. World of Warcraft is one of those that's like, good memories, but I think I'm done with it. Even if, like, every single time they come up with something new, it's like, that could be cool, but I just don't feel like putting the time and effort into playing it.
Also, I mean, since playing Guild Wars 2, I'm having a hard time with playing games that don't have a more active form of combat.
She just dodged all of my swings.
Wow.
I am impressed. Well, you know what? Let's make it so she can't dodge.
And also, quest systems irked me with World of Warcraft, and the fact that you had to constantly backtrack to get back to the quest givers, and so much collection.
Yep. My discs really don't do that much damage to her. Great sword murders the fat
Aren't they more
face.
magical-ish?
Yeah. But, like, it was saying, like, 300 damage, and it was barely taking off anything. And then it just hit her, like, 3 times with the greatsword, and she just went down. Anyway, who's here?
So, I'm not the only one who walked out of that mess. I figured you for a sturdy one, but surviving that wreck, that's fate. We shouldn't waste a moment. My wife, my Asa, she still lives, but they took her. I've never seen anything like it. Scavengers. They looked like fair Gorta, but not like any I've ever seen. No, it was just us. Asmir, Kelly, Free, Edric, Udin. They're all gone. All dead. They were good people. Proud. Not the bedraggled bunch many mistook them for. It's a shame. Thank you. I won't forget this, truly. I will make way inland. If there are others on this island, I will find them, and I will send them. My heart goes with you. There's not much time.
Well, I was wondering why there was a jail icon. Anyway, you were going to say something?
Yeah, well, so he was mentioning that his wife was taken by Fair Gorda, but they weren't
Well,
quite undead skeletons. I'm wondering if...
If you noticed earlier, we were fighting Fair Gorda captains and crew. That they actually probably have a little bit more intelligence to them than your standard run-of-the-mill Fair Gorda.
Well, I'm just wondering if maybe it's the people in bone disguises.
Well, considering we actually fought some skeleton Fair Gorda earlier, I could actually think this is, like, at face value right now.
Really?
Yeah, it could be.
Did you actually fight Fair Gorda? I don't remember you
Yeah.
doing so.
Yeah, right before fighting the ancient Leonash.
Oh, okay.
Or Leanchi. Of course, now I'm just fighting more Mergen, which, not as interesting. But eh.
Mm-hmm.
Talio. Great sword to the face. I don't know how we got through, like, the first half of this game without using a greatsword. Because in retrospect...
instead, just the blades?
Chakram's in, like, a staff. We were pretty much using mage weapons, honestly. Which, like, the staves were okay, but they just don't do enough damage.
Mm-hmm. Though it was probably the flashiest staff combat I've ever seen in a game.
That is true. No, I'm still very happy with that. Alright, let's see what's in the Cliffbreak Fasting.
Scave. That looks of it.
Oh, it's a person. Asa?
You're not a sailor, are you? Sailors pitch when they walk dry ground, list like drunkards at a wake. No, you're not one of them. So who are you? My name is Nina Malloy. You met my father Alder back in the village. He wouldn't be pleased to find me here. Of course, very little pleases my father. I've walked this island since I was no bigger than a boggart, yet I'm still prohibited from venturing past the village on my own. I can take care of myself.
I like her so far.
Yep. She's got a cool tattoo.
Wait, so you followed me? Let's do the you followed me.
I did. I don't know you, so I don't trust you. You're a stranger here like all the others that wash up on our beaches. You're better off having drowned. Don't be fooled by my father's elation. His devotion to Akara has blinded him, and it's weakened us all. We're prisoners on Gallows End by choice. Every time we make the offering, we surrender what little freedom we still possess.
What's the offering?
It's probably a sacrifice. Which is probably what we're going to be. Or Ditzy Girl.
Or is it something else?
We sacrifice one of our own people to Akara, a being none of us have ever seen, and one that's desires are not known to us. Is the offering bad? Yes.
Called it.
We can leave whenever we wish, all of us. Only we lack a vessel fit for such a journey. Wouldn't matter, however. Most of the villagers in Cape Solace wish to stay right here. My father has them convinced that their destiny is to serve Akara. My destiny is my own. If only he understood that.
I like our armor design.
It takes place once in a generation. A member of the village is chosen, and then she's offered to the god Akara as a sacrifice. During the offering ceremony, Akara imbues the chosen one with his magic and transforms her into his arbiter, his mouthpiece in the village. We follow her guidance, whether we wish to or not.
So they
Oh,
don't-
it's her mother.
They don't die? There's a woman in trouble?
Yeah, I bet her mother is the arbiter.
Let's see.
Yes, so I gathered. The scabs aren't partial to intruders, especially ones they can eat. I'll join you if you don't mind. I know these tunnels better than anyone. Lead on. I'll watch your back.
I think they're talking about Asa at this point.
Well, yeah.
Carry on.
Yawn. Alright, weapon rack. Actually, good equipment in here, weirdly enough. Anyway, I like the designs on the pillars, and it still reminds me heavily of Wrath of the Lich King's opening area. Timberline Falls, maybe?
No, Timberline Falls is in Guild Wars 2.
I don't know, it's been a while since I've played World of Warcraft, so it's kind of hard to remember. This is not one of those that you can just randomly log in to look around. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I remember
Or
this.
at least I think Timberline. I don't know. Some places get confusing.
Why is this scav not taking damage?
He's glowing.
Well, you know what?
Magic.
Yeah, Disc seems to be... Oh, when he's doing his glowy thing, he can't be harmed. Interesting. Well, it's dead. Is there another one? Oh yeah, there's another one. Yeah, the fact that the enemies go invincible while they're, like, shaking their booty at you is kind of confusing to me. Oh well.
Do you know what seems to be a theme?
What?
Like, bad gods in this game.
Yeah.
Because there was the whole, like, Hierophant and this, and... I mean, even the gods in the Colossi area, to some extent. Though Athena actually ended up being...
Well,
okay.
I think it's more just like blind devotion is a bad thing. Because take the... Oh, shoot, what are they called? The Tuatha, blindly devoted to a dragon that ended up just not giving a damn about them. The House of Sorrow guy, blindly devoted to the Tuatha because he believed that they were the only ones that would be able to, like, survive. I guess it's not exactly blind devotion. Well, yeah, it's blind devotion. Because it's pretty obvious that...
I thought he was just power hungry in it for himself.
No, remember he said he saw the world in flames and he knew that the Tuatha were the only ones that could weather it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cycle the first, the Arathi. Greetings, dear Netta. If I view this record as a personal
God,
correspondence,
subtitles.
it
There we
makes
go.
the distance bearable, keeps the feel going. You know how expeditionary time
I'm confused. See, Fair Gorda.
was not certain.
Captain. Shipman.
Years and years
It's interesting. I want to know what he's talking about, but it's hard.
signs of organized
Or
life.
Wrathy presence predates.
It is a curious thing. Why would such beings descend to this wounded realm? Whatever beckoned to them, its call must have been incredibly powerful.
Okay. So instead of reading that out loud, and it's probably impossible here, there's, like an explorer guy landed on the island.
And there was this ancient race called the Arathi
Yeah.
that actually developed something
Like,
here.
that had a presence here. Anyway, let's... I don't know. Let's say Vesa.
You've come. They came as soon as the hull went under. The cargo, the survivors, the sails, everything stripped like flesh from a bone. I didn't think I'd live to see the morning. Not with dead Kel here. I'm going to see if there's anyone else on this island. There are too many structures for it to be deserted.
Well, that was fast.
I've sailed with Captain Bratigan since the beginning. My husband and I hired her to ferry us across the Forian Strait to Odessa. After the wreck, we floated in the open sea for a whole week without food. That kind of experience creates lasting bonds.
Okay.
Don't be foolish.
Well, that was fast. It's like... What? Okay? But essentially, it's just like...
You have to talk with her in order to continue.
Yeah, I know, but she was like terribly... Oh, this is blood.
Trail. Ooh.
And people.
Ooh. It's definitely a guy.
And what is this? Tell me, stranger, what brings you down these dank passages? Salvage? Riches? The allure of a most magnificent death? If you must die, it should be at the hands of a monster like me. My victims are almost as infamous as I am.
Well, let's go with the first option. It's kind of interesting that they introduce us to the villain right from the get-go.
Yeah, he definitely looks human to me.
I have touched the hand of death and been chosen. So it is with all great men. We transcend mortality. But you wouldn't know of such things, would you? Death will not have me. Not until I am satisfied. And I am not satisfied. Oh no, I still hunger.
I love it how in games where your like character's obviously like even better suited to the whole like death will not have me thing. And the character's just like, you have no idea what you're talking about, and your character's just like, I ain't gonna say shit
I was
to
brought
you.
back from the dead.
There should just be the line there's like, you have no idea. But, of course, this game is not nearly very self-referential. Anyway.
Sinking your ship was only the start. Now it must be stripped to its bones, picked apart piece by glorious piece. Everyone's scavengers. It is how we survive. Killing the crew, well, that was for pleasure. Forgive me if I like to treat myself every once in a while.
Didn't you see his arm and
Yeah,
his leg?
I saw that. So
There's
he-
like vines.
Yeah, he actually might be slightly undead somehow. Or
possessed.
something. Yeah, also true.
You'll pay for your crimes.
Okay.
Will I? The Alpha Navy tried to stop me once. They sought to stretch my neck. Yet who do you think ended up dangling from the gallows? Don't make the same mistake they did. Don't come to my home and call for my head. It's foolish, and worse, disrespectful. I will forgive you this once, but that is all. Now leave Gallows End.
That's interesting.
Forgive you?
Yeah. Why would he ask us to leave when normally he's trying to kill everyone?
I think he's afraid. You know?
Yeah, though the glowing limbs do confuse me. Like, I could totally
And look,
see
there
this...
are vines and stuff around these guys, too.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I could totally see him having, like, found the skull of dead Kel.
Actually, I would almost think that it could be, like, Akara keeping all of these...
dead Kel, stranger. Find a ship, find a captain, then sail far, far away from Gallows End. I'll see that your friend gets to the village. After that, I'm going to do some exploring. There was another crash not soon after yours, a ship that ran aground up north. I was planning to follow the survivors inland, but there also might be something of value in their wreckage. I wouldn't call him a close relation, but I've seen him from time to time. He doesn't show his ghastly face around Cape Solace that often. I guess even he's got an interest in good salvage. can't be sure of what happened until I see for myself. But it was a large ship, a merchant galley, or perhaps even an old naval vessel. It was big, though, and it rode low in the water, loaded down with cargo, or with men, or with both.
Follow the survivors or check the wreckage.
I like survivors. I don't really care about wreckage.
Good idea. You never can tell if these castaways are going to be friendly or just plain mad. Look at you. Perhaps I'll see you back at Cape Solace. Till then, try to stay out of trouble. Bye.
Okay. So, things are kind of turning out interestingly, I have to say. It's
Well,
like...
especially we don't have that whiny girl around us.
Yeah, yep. DLC, not as sucked right now. Who is this guy? Udin. Oh, he was one of the other members of the crew. But it's definitely one of those where it's like...
But I think what I was getting to before we actually got cut off by the conversation
Yeah?
was I'm wondering if maybe this Akara thing is actually like the Vine presence and is just keeping people on the island so that they're constantly fed and pleased.
I could see that. Hey, and a new passage opened up. But we will go spelunking on the next episode, Kingdoms of Amalur. And we're still invincible. I was kind of wondering about that earlier because we were somehow injured. Oh, I see. It just loops back around. Anyway, we will see you guys then.